Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be going over one hero for each role, starting from safe lane all the way to position 5. I'm going to be talking about one hero and giving you the build I recommend on these heroes to dominate in the current meta. These are heroes that are pro player sponsored, Speed Dota sponsored, and most importantly, just straight up good. So yeah, let's talk about these 5 Dota heroes and let's get into it. And now I want to tell you guys a little bit about DotaPlus from Overwolf. This is a free stats app you guys can download right now that's going to show you your stats for the last 3 months. So if you want to know your games played, your MMR, your win rate, your XPM, your GPM, all of these things you need to track to know how well you're doing and what you need to change to gain MMR, you can get for absolutely free. On top of that, the biggest reason why you need to download DotaPlus, at least for me, is the ban suggestions. Basically, it tells you what the enemy team is good at. It tells you their best heroes, what they've been winning with. You just ban it. You might be wondering why your good heroes, why your best heroes keep getting banned. It's because of DotaPlus. The enemy team is using it and banning out your best heroes. So go download DotaPlus right now, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, starting off with the safe lane, we have DAWNBREAKER. This is one of my favorite right now for a couple of reasons. Number one, I really think in this current meta, when we're seeing quite a bit of Beastmaster, LYCAN, and Unit heroes, if that happens to come out in your pubs, which it won't always be the case, but if it does happen, DAWNBREAKER absolutely dumpsters these heroes in the lane. On top of that, in this split pushing and rat meta that once again comes out from time to time, or even quite often, depending on your bracket, it's very nice to have a hero with global presence. This could be a Spectre, a Nature's Prophet, anything of the sort. But DAWNBREAKER is incredibly good because she kills the waves without having to show for a long period of time. Now, on top of that, what is the build you would go on a safe lane DAWNBREAKER? Really, what I love about this hero is its lack of need for BKB. You do need BKB at some point. In fact, often offlaners, or even sometimes safe laners, will literally rush BKB on DAWNBREAKER. But the thing is, you don't have to go this build. So the most common build we actually see on DAWNBREAKER right now is typically some sort of bracer soul ring into phase boots, occasionally a wand instead of a bracer, depending on the lane, of course. So we'll see a wand, soul ring, phase boots. After that, the item depends a little bit, but most commonly is Echo Saber because your hero needs a stupid amount of mana to function. Hence the wand, soul ring, and Echo Saber to deal with this. On top of that, it is still a 28 damage item. That is the Echo Saber. And finally, after that, you go for your shard. If you don't know what DAWNBREAKER shard is, her Q ability, the one that makes her swipe in circles, it allows you to have free movement, so you can control it very easily. You can move around with it. It also causes your Starbreaker to have spell immunity. So essentially, even though it doesn't last for very long, it's like 1.5 or 2 seconds, it's still long enough for you to stay on top of a target and try to burst them. On the note of bursting them, how DAWNBREAKER's Q works is it gives you bonus damage on each swipe, but then it also just uses your current damage. Right, so let's say you hit for 300. Every single swipe will deal 300. This also includes the Luminosity crit. And so how do you abuse a crit and then 3 swipes of your damage? You build raw damage. You're a Phantom Assassin. So you buy a Deso. And this is the most common build. Echo, Shard into Deso. After that, back into BKB. From there, there's a couple items you can go. Silver Edge is good. Satanic is good as it works with your Q. Daedalus is fine. Anything along these lines is quite powerful. Even quite a bit of Blink Dagger, as your hero can kind of lack the ability to reliably get on top of people, so the Blink Dagger is nice so you can one-shot supports in the fight. And yes, you will literally one-shot people on your Deso timing with your Q. With the Luminosity talents as well, at level 15, you have a 50% Luminosity damage talent, and at level 20, you have 1 less attack required for Luminosity. So instead of 4 attacks, it only takes the 3, so you're critting very consistently for a very high amount of damage. I think it gets up to 250% crit or 230% crit, which is super notable. And trust me, when you have this Deso, you crit for like 800. Alright, getting into the mid lane, we have a bit of a weird one, but this is a cool one that there's a lot of players experimenting with right now, and I think it is quite good, and that is CLOCKWERK. Ever since CLOCKWERK gained the ability to have Battery Assault do 2 times damage to creeps, his Q at max now deals 190 damage. With his level 15 talent to creeps, it does, I think, 245 damage, something along those lines. It's very close to that. And so your Q actually one-shots creep waves very quickly. This means you can farm. It also means you can kill neutral camps. And it also means in the laning stage, you have a way to shove the wave. And if you guys don't know this, in order to be a good Dota player or a good laner, especially in the mid lane, you need the ability to shove the wave. Why? Because you don't want the wave doubled up on you, because if it's doubled up on you, then you will have all of your creeps contested and denied under your tower going into runes, right? Let's say it's the 130 wave or it's the 1 minute wave. Going into the rune, if you can't clear the wave, you will have a wave pushing into you under your tower while runes are coming up, meaning you're either tanking damage on your way to the rune because you're dragging a wave, or you're losing creeps under tower. So if you don't have the ability to shove the wave, you can't gank because you always have to deal with a wave, you can't contest the runes that effectively, you can't stack the small camp, and you get double wave, meaning you're going to get pressured harder. So that is why it's very uncommon to see heroes without wave clear in the mid lane. Right? It does not work, but Clock now has 2 wave shove abilities. His battery assault combined with his rocket flare allows you to easily secure the range creep, shove in the wave, and simply lane. And of course, with how good Bottle is right now with water runes, you have plenty of mana to spam your abilities and tank a few autos while you're shoving out the wave. And this really is the gist. And then from there, frankly, CLOCKWERK is just a fine mid laner. He just wants to be as active as humanly possible. Battery Assault is only an 8.5 second downtime, and it's one of the strongest early game abilities in the game, and so you really just want to tank up on your items. You want to go for a Bottle, typically into Stick, after Stick boots, after boots phase boots, after phase boots into Soul Ring, then into Windlace. You want to max out on movement speed as much as humanly possible so that you can roam around the map, go from camp to camp, lane to lane, and just kind of get active on the map. And of course, Hookshot being only a 60-second cooldown means every single minute you can get a solo kill on a support, even sometimes cores, if they don't have the ability to get out of your cogs, which often is the case. Alright, getting into number 3 is LYCAN. You can also put Beastmaster here, but I can't recommend these heroes enough. I also just made a LYCAN guide on the website, so if you want to check that out and learn this hero, I recommend you go subscribe. Basically, this hero and its ability to split push in the current meta is deadly. Even if you lose your lane, it often doesn't matter. LYCAN's impact in the mid to late game is so notable. While I will say that out of all the heroes on this list to play, LYCAN is by far the hardest because he requires a very niche playstyle that requires you to be very greedy, split the map, bait rotations, have really good mini-map awareness, and a little bit of micro. So you gotta be a bit careful if you want to try this one out. But at the end of the day, with Vlad's drums being so good, Helm of the Overlord being in a great place, there being a lot of strong creeps, for instance, the troll priest or whatever that thing is that summons the skeletons, guys, it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. If your team takes a fight on the bottom side of the map and you're split pushing top and you have this troll creep, you can take a tier 2 10 minutes in easily. Like it's not even a question. It's like, it's not. I mean, you might not get it first go and they can glyph, but like you bait the glyph, you summon 6 of these skeletons, you just insta kill the tower. It genuinely makes no sense how much it does to towers. Same thing with mid tower. If you get this creep, you can collapse on mid, easily win the mid fight because Shapeshift is like the best early game ability in Dota, and you just win your team the fight. So basically what I'm saying is like, you just take over the early game, right? Even if you lose your lane, which often you will if you're bad at this hero, even though there's multiple ways to kind of do okay, you can get out of lane and just do fine, right? Like your hero is insane. It's just insane. You should watch some replays. The hero is a 55% winner in a Dota 2 Pro Tracker. I made a guide on the website. You should check that out. And so yeah, if you're looking for a hero to just kind of stomp pubs with, you got to spam it a little bit. You got to practice. You got to learn the playstyle. But if you can get it down, LYCAN is easily one of the best heroes in Dota right now, and it's no question. Coming in at number 4, we have DAZZLE. This is position 4 DAZZLE. Now, I do think DAZZLE is a common position 5, but honestly, when it comes to winning pubs, you don't always need a hard initiator as your 4. If you're mid laner, and I will say, you want to influence your team to pick a stun if you're going to pick DAZZLE 4. Like, it's good to have a Void Spear mid or a DK offlane or something along the lines, or like something like a LYCAN that can run in. But honestly, I just think this hero is good. Like, I think having this team comp where you have like 2 backline supports that just sits behind a bunch of tanky heroes is frankly strong. I think it's very strong. And so much so to the point where I think this hero, when it's played in a greedy manner, is just so powerful. The build I'm currently the biggest fan of is a Holy Locket build up. You can even start with a headdress at level 1, which is quite interesting. I don't always recommend it. I think often stick, stats, and regen, like 1 mango, stick, salve, tango, 2 branches is like kind of the best build because you want to be able to right click with your poison touch. But this hero's ability to kind of just shove the wave in the offlane, constantly push it under their safe lane tower, making it hard for them to last it and have to tank creeps, is really good. Like, it's really, really strong. And then from there, I just think this hero scales well. Like, with how good Grave is right now, if you can get to this Holy Locket mech timing, which is generally what I suggest, of course with a shard generally in between the 2 items, it's insane how much you heal. It's crazy, man. Like, honestly, always blows me away. This hero will be 1 HP, I'm like, they're dead, right? Because with old DAZZLE, they were dead. Like, old DAZZLE, you would grave someone, they'd be 1 HP. You can't heal them. I mean, it's like you have like Shadow Wave. But now, your Grave gives like 20, 40, 60, 80% heal amp, depending on the level, if they're 1 HP. And then you have Shadow Wave, but it's getting amped by a lot. So it's like a 250 heal. You Holy Lock at them, which is like a 400 heal, way more when amped. And then you ulti, which is like, it depends how many spells you've casted on them, but that's also like an extra 100 heal. So you just boom, it's just 800, 900 heal. Like, it's crazy. It's just full HP on a support. Close, right? Of course, they can pop their magic wand as well, which gets amped too. And so I just think this hero's good. The shard is really nice. It scales, so if you're playing a greedy position 4, Dazzle's a very great greedy position 4. This hero pushes in waves incredibly well, right? The general build you're gonna be going is 2-4-4. So you're putting 2 points in Poison Touch. Then you're gonna put 1 point in Grave at 4. Then you're gonna max your Shadow Wave typically. Sometimes people will take only 2 points in Shadow Wave, then max Grave, or 3 points in Shadow Wave and max Grave. Kinda just depends how early you think or how many levels you're gonna have. Like if you're really snowballing, you can max Shadow Wave as fast as possible, but if you're not and the game's a bit harder, you can max Grave a bit earlier just for the teamfight contribution. So you can get multiple Graves off from better range with more heal amp, and that's how you should look at that. But yeah, I just think Dazzle's really strong right now. I think he works well in the meta. He's great with these unit heroes in lane as well. Like, unironically, I think Beast, Lycan, Dazzle are all great lanes because these heroes need sustain. They need to be helped, and then they honestly work well with Poison Touch. So yeah, let's get into the position 5 hero, and that is Warlock. Honestly, my team has been picking it. Seems good to me. I just think with the... Also, I didn't mention this about Dazzle, but it is the case. With the removal of the 5 spamming salves, or the 4 spamming salves, these heal heroes just have a much bigger place in the meta right now. Like, just that change, the fact that salves are now halved when you feed them to teammates is insane, because it means that your core has to buy it himself unless he has a Dazzle or a Warlock. And so these heroes just have this innate strength in this meta where they are the salve, and it might not seem like a big deal. It seems like a joke. You're like the salve cuck or whatever, but it's so powerful because your cores all of a sudden just get to keep all of their net worth, right? They get to invest that into a stick, an earlier, earlier Helm of the Iron Will timing if it's a unit hero like we were talking about, earlier boots, whatever it is. You're just getting these items way, way earlier. And keep in mind, you might be like, oh, it's only 100 gold. It's not. You gotta buy multiple salves, especially if you're in a difficult lane. It could be 2-3 salves. That's a very significant amount of net worth. That's 12 last hits, to some extent, or 10. Right? And you got to keep in mind, like, that's a lot of last hits. That's a lot of gold in the laning stage. It's the difference between having an item that wins you a trade or not. So I think these heroes just in that are powerful. I think Warlock, his ability to shove in the way with Fatal Bonds is really good in the offlane or the safe lane, frankly. And yeah, I don't know. This hero, I've been watching a team fight, especially considering a lot of teams won't have team fight in their offlaner because they're seeing a lot more unit heroes in the offlane. Because of this, what we're seeing is you need a bit of team fight in your 5. And so having this Warlock kind of substitute the lack of AoE stun or AoE damage that you don't necessarily have when you pick a Lycan or a Beastmaster. So it can really round out these drafts that have, let's say, a Beastmaster Tusk as their offlane or something along those lines. It rounds out the draft, or even something like a Beastmaster Hoodwink. You lack this AoE damage, and Warlock really makes up for that and enables you to, just take out these teams in team fights when you just simply don't have team fight damage. So yeah, big fan of Warlock. I think he really fits the meta. I think he works well even against these unit heroes in lane. He dominates them quite hard. From what I've seen, he's good against Beast in lane, good against Lycan in lane. He works really well with Kunkka in lane because of the Tidebringer, plus the Fatal Bonds is a really cool combo. And yeah, that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.